Hyundai is the other one. After rising from the lows, hitting all-time highs about 2,900 and cooling off a bit, I think the commentary from Hyundai has been very, very positive, right? It's gearing up for a very aggressive product blitz as well. 26 new models in the pipeline across segments. As part of its long-term India strategy, the company will also introduce its Genesis luxury brand by 2027, marking a bold push into the premium space. My colleague Puneet spoke to Tarun Garg, who will be the first Indian CEO to head Hyundai Motor India. Listen in.
Mr. Garg, thanks so much for joining in. Firstly, many congratulations to you personally as well. You've been announced as the MD and CEO since from 2026. So firstly, many congratulations.
Thank you so much.
On becoming the first Indian CEO of the company. What is that like? It has been a long time coming for you, been in the industry for long. What does that feel like?
It's an amazing feeling, and of course fills me with a lot of pride to be the first Indian ever to lead HMIL. Of course we had IPO last year, and which was the biggest IPO in the history of India, and I had the huge honor of leading that IPO as well. So I think now we are truly an Indian company, and with my appointment today as the CEO with effect from 1st January, it brings in much more of Indianness, you know, and of course, like you said, so many investments. So I think this is the beginning of the second phase of growth for Hyundai in India. We have been very successful in phase 1, almost close to 3 decades. In terms of volumes, 9 million cars sold in India, more than 3 million exported, so many marquee brands, Creta, i10, i20, Santro, Accent, Venue, etc. So I think, yes, so much to look forward to now.
I think there's just a sense of energy, which you have been showing since listing. I think post the first couple of quarters, even in your conference calls, there's been that energy, and always something that you mentioned, the Indianization of Hyundai in India. That's been one of the focal points, right?
Absolutely, because of course we were always Indian. If you see the kind of models we have launched, it's not always that in fact okay, there's a model doing well in Korea, let's bring that. No, I think the idea was always to bring India specific models, so that is a part of Indianness. Of course, localization, if you see the vendors, today our localization stands at 82%. So in our campaign, Shah Rukh Khan being our brand ambassador now for what, 27 years, again reiterates that fact. Of course, more and more expansion now with the Pune plant coming in. So you can see that Indianness was always there, but the IPO was like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And today, like you heard, that more localization, more new models, 26 launches, 7 new nameplates, cleaner fuels, 8 hybrids, 6 CNGs, 5 EVs.
And go on and
on.
But let me just start with a couple of key aspects of what you just mentioned. One is that you've actually come out and told the street about a revenue as well as margin guidance. I think it's the first time that an Indian automaker is doing that. You roughly had around 69,000 crores last year. You want to go to 1 lakh crore by FY30. Will that be led by new model launches, as well as where's the confidence coming from to come out and say that in your first year since listing?
Look, frankly speaking, we have always grown in India, and the volume, selling close to 600,000 in the domestic market, and of course exporting as well. So the confidence is always there. If you see the launch plan, 26 model launches, 7 new nameplates, blah blah blah. So 7% CAGR is what we are looking at in terms of volume, which should give us this kind of a 1 lakh plus 1 lakh crore plus revenue. We have always believed in quality of sales, a balance between volume and profit. Now that we are listed, I think this is our responsibility towards the shareholders. So very, very important aspect of thing. In terms of technology, we have access to all the technology which HMC has. So you can see that there are, otherwise the OEMs are either inclined towards CNG or electric or hybrid, but here is one company, Hyundai, who has announced that we are going to be in all kinds of cleaner technologies. In fact, more than 50% of our sales would come from the cleaner fuels in fiscal 30.
And just taking forward that point, what do you actually make of the consumer in this particular point of time? Do you expect that the adoption will not be led by CNG, because that's been what the history suggests in terms of alternate fuels? It will also be led by hybrid. It will also be led essentially by EVs. Is that what you think the Indian consumer is going to go to in the next few years?
Absolutely. If you see, even today, At the entry level, we offer the customers petrol and CNG, because for that customer, the initial cost of acquisition is very important. But for the SUV segment, he wants the petrol and the diesel and the electric. Going forward with the hybrid in our array, so I think there will be much more options. So there's no one solution which the customer has, and going forward for different segments, for different geographies, also customer choice will be different. Today, there are markets like Punjab and Telangana and Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat who want more diesel. There are markets like UP and Maharashtra who want more CNG. There are markets like Delhi and Northeast who want more petrol. So even today, different states behave differently, India being such a vast country. So going forward, I think there's an opportunity for all kinds of technologies in India.
The other one, the one which I had was the huge investment plan that you announced, 45,000 crores. How much of that will actually go in, the additions of Pune plant? I think eventually post FY28, you're looking to add almost 2.5 lakh capacity there, which will take your capacity to almost 11 lakhs in India. So if you could just give us some perspective on model launches, on capacity addition and upgradation.
So Puneet, we have given a lot of information today. So I think you can, of course, going forward, yearly basis, we will keep on adapting and seeing what kind of capex will be required in every year. In terms of model launches, like I said, this 26 will have about 7 new nameplates. Which is very important, and the number of nameplates in fiscal 30 will be 18, including the derivatives. And of course, like I mentioned, there will be 5 EVs, there will be 6 CNGs, there will be 8 hybrids. So I think we'll have a very rich portfolio which will cater to some new segments as well. We announced the entry into the MPV segment, entry into the off-roader segment. Of course, we have announced the entry into Genesis in India in 2027. We have announced that a fully dedicated EV is going to again be launched in 27. So you can see that we have a very, very aggressive plan, and we want to have a 15% plus market share and EBITDA guidance of 10% to 14%.
Let me take the point a little bit more on market share, because you've been an undisputed leader in the number 2 market share for a while now, almost a decade or so, if I can count the recent time frame. But that has been challenged in terms of competition. With the new launches, with what you're expecting the Indian consumer with multiple powertrains, do you expect that the road ahead will be much tougher than what it has been?
Look, road has always been tougher and the challenges always come up. I have been in the industry now for 32, 33 years, and there have been different kind of challenges. Important thing is, what is your strategy and how do you execute that strategy? So it has to be, for us, it has always been a balance between volume, market share and profits, and that is how we want to move forward. Of course, we are very, very passionate about the number 2 position. At the same time, like I said, being listed, we have a responsibility towards shareholders. The other thing is, we want to really keep on focusing on exports, because right from the time we set foot in India, exports has been an integral part of HMI strategy. So we don't want to let go of that, because that gives us a precious foreign exchange, and of course the margins are very good. So I think this is very, very important, that you have a very comprehensive 360-degree view of the situation rather than only focus on one aspect of the business. But yes, of course, with the Pune plant coming in, I think there will be a headroom both in the domestic as well as in the export market to grow share as well as volume and profit.
The other detail that you've given in this particular Investor Day has been the launch of a EV coming up very soon, and that could be in the compact SUV space. Could you talk to us a little bit about both the compact SUV space as well as launching an EV in that particular space as well, because very limited option for buyers right now?
So look, if you see especially these compact SUV space, I think it is the most exciting space with the maximum competition. The venue segment is doing really very well in terms of growth, in terms of volumes, and of course in terms of getting a good quality of sales as well, because that is the customer who is wanting higher trims, who is wanting automatics and DCTs and sunroofs and infotainment as well. So we are very excited by the segment. Post GST 2.0, we have seen a big growth coming in that segment as well, and that segment also wants EV. So I think we have announced a fully dedicated EV, which will be a base-up new EV, not a derivative model, for India, exclusively for India, and of course to be exported as well in early 27. So I think that's a very exciting space, and we are very, very hopeful that will really set the ball rolling in terms of increasing Hyundai's EV market share as well.
Do you largely feel that with exports, and I think the plan is to go to 30%, that sets you at a very distinct advantage to the other players right now, because that is where they are starting to build that up. And also, if you have actually seen a change in strategy, because we have a couple of players who are going to new geographies like Australia, like South Africa, you must be already present there. To give us some perspective on that.
So look, obviously with the exports comes more volumes, which gives us economies of scale, higher efficiencies, better productivity, and of course foreign exchange as well, and margins are very good. So exports are very, very important and very critical part of our strategy going forward. Of course, as of now, more and more exports are of hatches or sedans. Going forward, as we introduce more and more SUVs, I think this will again throw up more opportunities for export of SUVs as well. So I think it's a very comprehensive plan that we have. Many of these 26 launches that we are going to have are going to add to exports as well. Of course, whether it is the Middle East or whether it is Latin America, Africa, or even markets like Nepal and nearby markets as well, there is a huge scope both for ICE as well as hybrids and EVs in all these markets.
You know, you highlighted a very interesting point in your compact SUV answer, that the buyer wants a lot of things in the price point that he is looking to give to a car company right now. Do you think that over the last few years there's been a lot of over-reliance on models like Creta and Venue, and now with this investment plan you will be able to adhere to a lot more, because those are very, very popular models which have hit the nail on the head for that buyer? Do you think that those two models will of course continue to dominate your percentage of total sales that is in India? Or do you expect that the other ones will catch up now?
Of course, we are very, very proud of Creta and Venue, because they have been the kind of a flag bearers in terms of volume, market share, profit, leadership. At the same time, we have very exciting products like Extra, which is doing very well since the time it has come in India. Of course, we have the i10, the Aura, volumes continue to go up with the CNG option to the customers. Going forward, like I said, we have a plethora of products which are coming up. So obviously, with a more diverse portfolio of models as well as powertrains, we will see the better volumes coming in.